Hey guys, how's it going? So today's video is gonna be how to bind, but how to bind like a pro. So when you're a beginner player, you inevitably learn the kind of beginner binds. So everyone is kind of proficient at the whole, and everyone kind of learns the traditional binds. And the next step up from there to making yourself kind of like that beginner player to the intermediate and more advanced player is learning a few fancy binds. Now there's like levels to this stuff. There are binds that I feel as if are tricks in and of themselves. But for this video, we're going to just be doing the binds that you do casually. And if you learn all these binds, it's just gonna make you look like a little bit more of a pro player. So the binds I'm gonna tell you today, they're not exactly tricks in and of themselves, I would argue, but they definitely kind of elevate how you're perceived. Look, so we're gonna be going through things like the Hiroyuki Suzuki bind, the Guy Wright bind, you know, the outside Guy Wright bind, you know, the little slack bind thing like that, or stuff like that, and all of these are going to be covered inside this video. So let's do it. How to bind like a pro. This is probably the bind I use the most, and it's just really cool because A, it doesn't look like your generic bind, and B, it binds it up so that it's really nice and tight most of the time. So how you do this bind is you kind of throw a trapeze and then loop into an undermount like so. And you can do it from a pretty big swing. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna swing the yo-yo to the inside of your arm. Now you can do this to the outside of your arm and it's gonna make it look slightly different, but to get that really cool effect, how Hiroyuki Suzuki does it, you do it from the inside of your arm. So you wanna swing in, and just as the yo-yo is just about to hit around your, the inner of your kind of elbow, you wanna let go of this and shoot up. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna create that bind, and it's just gonna shoot up and go boom. And it's gonna create that bind. And then all you have to do is from there, catch it. And it's a really nice kind of stylish bind that just hops on. It creates that nice effect. You know, I really enjoy this bind. Another bind that I do really casually is the Guy Wright bind, and it looks like this. Okay, how you do this bind? Again, land inside an undermount, and you're going to swing it inside your body again, right? But in this time, instead of swinging it up, you're going to kind of go over your hand as if it were a brain twister. So go over, and what you're gonna do is, as it kind of holds onto this, you're gonna let go, and you're gonna pull, you're going to pull your throw hand. And as you pull, it's gonna create that link in the loop, and you should be able to get the yo-yo back up. Sweet, like so. Another variation of that is literally just doing that, but to the outside of your hand. And the only difference between this one is that this is gonna go over your underloop, and instead of going through your hand on the inside, it's gonna go through your hand on the outside. And again, when you're ready, let go of that, you're gonna tug up. And if you do that all in one motion, let go, tug up. So let go, tug up, it's gonna create that effect as well. So those are the other two. Now the next bind is a bind that I do all the time, and it looks kind of cool, it looks kind of difficult, but it's actually pretty easy. And this is the, it's like a slack bind. I'm not sure if that's the actual name for it, but that's what I'm just gonna call it. So how you do this bind is you pretend you're doing kind of like a suicide, right? So you pretend you're doing a suicide. Then what you do is, with the suicide loop kind of forming, you do another motion that's very similar to kind of like a reverse laceration. So like a negative hook, you kind of do that. So again, and for those of you who don't know how to do that, it's basically just drawing a circle with your throw hand, okay? And you're just gonna create the loop. And when you fuse these two together, suicide, and just as the point where the suicide's about to form, you then go suicide and then go suicide and then draw suicide and then try and do another laceration. Suicide, another laceration. But you're not gonna do the entire laceration. You just go suicide and you're just gonna do that. And you see that loop that's created just about there? See that? So you're gonna land the gap of the yo-yo onto that string. So, see that? That's what you're gonna land into. And if you do it all in one motion, you're gonna create this loop, and as soon as it lands on, you kind of just want to tug it a little bit, and then it's gonna bind up and do a return. This trick, while it looks very stylish and very slackish, is actually generally pretty easy. once you get the motion down. So again, suicide, extra round, and create through. That's slack bind. The next bind is a slack bind, and it looks like that. And then you can also do the reverse. For the first one, you're gonna have to do a forward style throw. And if you'll notice, this is a different direction from the rest of them because the rest all started off with a breakaway. This is the only one that's starting off with a sleeper. But this is what it's gonna do. So you're gonna do a kind of like over the arm laceration, over the arm laceration. And then instead of doing that, what I like to do is I like to do two because it just allows me to get the timing a bit right, but you can do it with one as well. And you're going to kind of hit your, you're gonna intercept the string as it's halfway through and you can create this platform. See that? And what's gonna happen is as you create this platform, you're going to put the yo-yo on and it's gonna bind. So if you do it twice, you kind of get that nice bind motion. And what's essentially happening is that as you're landing here, when you kind of hit the slack up, it's generally just doing what a normal bind would do and it's capturing it there and getting the yo-yo back up. Instead of sending the loop down like this, you're creating a loop in mid-air and then flicking it up to create the bind. Okay, that's how it works. Swing over, bind. Okay, how do you do the reverse version? The reverse version looks like this. And similarly, you start off with kind of an under laceration. And again, this one starts in a breakaway. So here you have a just a normal laceration. So the same motion you do a hook, the same motion you do a laceration. It's this motion. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna get to this point. So you're gonna swing around halfway and you're gonna get to that point. You see where the slack is right now? And at this point, I'm gonna hit both strings into the gap of the yo-yo. So boom, boom. And as you'll notice, it's gonna create something like that, which is identical to this, except I'm just doing it in midair. As I hit it and knock that thing through, it's gonna create that bind. Boom. Boom. I find that this trick is actually a little bit more labor intensive than the last one because the other one, you can generally just keep your hands there. For this one, you really need to knock that thing into the string. If you just do it lightly, sometimes it'll work, but yeah, I find that the first one is just more fun for me. I like that more, but this one, you kind of knock it into the string and then it's gonna go up and bind. So there you have it. Now you have your own little set of binds that are gonna make you look just a little bit more of a seasoned player. And it's gonna be kind of things you can integrate into some of your tricks that, you know, instead of just doing like you can do something a little bit more cool or something a little bit more slacky. Or, you know, you can even combine the two to create stuff like that. And these aren't tricks in and of themselves, but they just add that like 1 or 2% that make you look just a little bit more pro. So there we have it. There we go. That's how to bind like a pro. Now, just as an FYI to all the players out there who are asking for this video, I actually made this video like 6 years ago. It's a little dated. The tutorial's not as good. I thought I'd remake it, but if you guys want to watch the original one, you can go watch that there and watch young Brandon Yoyo. In any case, that's how you bind like a pro. Any comments, questions, criticisms, post them down below, and I will see you guys next time.